And to think that I thought I could just put some charts in front of me and practice it a few times and be good, it's just so funny. Okay, so here's where the song goes nuclear. Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Art of Guitar. Today I'm here with a warning for everybody. No matter what you do, never think that you could just fake or float your way through a Springsteen tune. I'm playing at a benefit tomorrow, and I agreed to play 4 songs on guitar. I wanted to play drums on Enter Sandman, but somebody took that spot. I thought that'd be a lot of fun. But there was another opening for a bass player for Born to Run, and I thought, how hard could it be? I've grown up on that song. I've heard it a million times. I could probably just pull up some charts and just go with that. Unfortunately, those 5 words almost came back to haunt me. How hard can it be? I started to research the bass line a little bit. There's actually a video with the isolated track on it. And first of all, I noticed that Gary Talent actually used a pick. And for some crazy reason, I thought it was just going to be like 3 or 4 chords, like a 1, 4, 5 type thing, maybe a 6 chord thrown in. But when I started to research it, I realized that this was actually going to take me the most time to practice amongst all the other songs that I chose to play. If you're looking at a chart for the beginning of the song, you might just think E, A, B, just a 1, 4, 5, and go like this. That would be understandable, but what Gary's actually doing is he's doing a half-step slide into the E up here. Okay, that's not too crazy, but the second time around, he jumps up to this high octave slide. So I knew I could handle that. I thought, okay, maybe the song just does a lot of octaves, but it's still, for the most part, E, A, and B. Now, the next part came, and it started to get a little more difficult. It started turning into more like a Beatles bass line. So here's what he does. So the walk down part is pretty doable, but I didn't realize there was those fills happening between them. So after the first walk down, you have to go like this. You really have to make sure you hit all the hits, especially the last one, because that's a real powerful part where the whole band hits, and even Springsteen sings like a whoa, so it's really powerful. The next time through, all of a sudden it goes into this 50s walk down pattern. The good news for me, because I have to learn this so quick, is that it repeats the beginning again. And it does that 3 times in the song, which is really nice because if you learn a chunk of music and you could just repeat it later, it really cuts back on the learning time, obviously. So you're back to this stuff. Sometimes I forget to do that octave jump. It's so important. If you listen to the song, it really sticks out in a great way. Okay, so you do that all again, and then you go back to the intro one more time, but then things completely go off the rails. The sax solo kicks in, and you have to do this once again like a 50s type vibe. Do you hear all that craziness at the end? He does something like that, where he goes B to C sharp and he makes it real rhythmic like that. Gary is complementing the drum part in a really, really cool way. If you listen to the drums and the bass, how they play off each other on these parts, it's incredible. Because if you only listen to the bass line, it just sounds like he's just chugging away and being a little bit crazy. But the bass line goes perfectly along with the drum beat to create this controlled chaos, if you will. Speaking of that, the second time he goes... That's pretty nuts, isn't it? Just having to go all the way down and come back for this weird... And you have to hit those hits real solid. You think it's done, but you have to actually walk up to the B. I never knew that was in there before till I listened to the isolated track. Now, just when your head is starting to clear from all that chaos, the next part, I'll just call it a bridge part, comes in, and it's more weirdness.
Beyond the palace, semi-powered drone scream.
Gary's bass lines are so all over the place. They're constantly moving. You can't take a break anywhere. It's pretty insane. After you do that one time, you kind of do it again, but there's some variations. Like he does something like... So he jumps up there that time. Now the craziest part hasn't even happened yet, and already I'm sure your head's spinning as well. And to think that I thought I could just put some charts in front of me and practice it a few times and be good, it's just so funny. Okay, so here's where the song goes nuclear. Imagine looking at a chart and even just seeing that chromatic climb. I would have been completely lost. I would have been trying to follow it. I would have had to keep one eye on the drummer and one eye on the paper to follow that. Now you have to hold the B out for effect, right? And then the boss is going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. And when you come back in, I'm tempted to go back to the intro, basically, or the verse, I should say, up here. But you have to hit a low E because that just captures the feel so perfectly right there. So after all of that chromatic insanity, you have to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Just hold it out. Then go to the normal verse. I forgot to mention this earlier, but remember that Beatles walk down that's kind of at the end of the verse into the chorus? Well, the first time he does it a certain way, he goes... But for some reason, the second time and the third time, he does it differently each time. So the second time he goes... And the third time, I don't know why, because it's the end of the song, you'd think it would keep getting more complicated. He actually makes it less complex and just goes like this. So for some reason, he takes out all the connecting notes and just leaves it real bare bones with the root notes. I thought that was interesting. He does that again in the end where they do the turnaround 3 times. So for example, he'll go... See how he's not doing the dip down to the fifths anymore? We're still not out of the woods yet. So after the third time doing the turnaround, Max Weinberg just goes crazy on that part. Gary goes like this to follow it. So he does these really intense 8th note triplets before he returns back to the E for the final part of the song. So you really got to jump on that because you're already doing the walk down. So you're going right here. Pretty heavy metal on that part. I thought the end was just going to be E, A to B as it fades out or whatever. First of all, it doesn't fade out. Second of all, he actually just does this. And on the last one, they do hits together. So they go. I had to put another memory pin in my brain for that part because if you don't hit the A to the B, the whole end just falls apart. So my head is spinning at this point. I'm thinking, am I going to have this ready for the concert? You know, so basically every night I worked on it. I played it 3 or 4 times every night. Today I'm going through it like a dress rehearsal with the recording, and I'm finally locking into the song the way I want to. So I hope you heed my advice and you ignore those 5 words that seem to pop up in our heads, sometimes out of laziness, sometimes out of desperation because it's so last minute. But how hard could it be? Do not let those words haunt you, okay? Don't let them bite you in the butt. Okay, everyone, thank you for watching this video. I kind of threw it together at the last minute before the show, but I thought it needed to be put out there for people. And I have another video coming out in 2 days that I'm real excited about as well. So we'll see you there. Okay, bye bye.